If you ever wake up in the morning and feel kind of groggy and maybe like you have a headache and just really out of it, that might be a signal from your body that you can work on your nighttime wellness routine. Hi guys, welcome to my channel where we talk all things plant-based, holistic health and wellness. The goal is to live our freest, happiest, healthiest life with plants as our fuel. My name is Lauren. I have a bachelor's degree in nutrition and 6 years of living plant-based under my belt. I eat a whole foods plant-based diet and I am obsessed with all things holistic health and wellness. So if this sounds anything like you, you can subscribe below so we can become buddies. I put a new video out every week. Today's a little bit of a different video because we're going to talk about nighttime wellness routines. So I've been obsessed with developing like the perfect morning routine for the last couple years, and I think I got to a place that I feel really good. It feels productive and great, but what I also figured out is that actually really good mornings start the night before, and nighttime is always something I kind of struggled with. I just love staying up late because, you know, at night it can kind of get like quiet and everybody else is asleep, and I don't know, just personally I feel like I could do the things at night that I would feel really bad for doing in the day, whether that was like zoning out and watching like Bravo or scrolling on social media. I would do these things at night that just I felt bad about doing during the day and wasting my time on during the day. But I also realized that the nights that I did that, I woke up so much more anxious the next morning. And then it dawned on me that like, okay, you figured out this great morning routine, you have to do the same at night too, or else you're gonna wake up feeling anxious and groggy and not get that much sleep. So I have been working on my nighttime wellness routine and have come up with this really beautiful routine that I look forward to. I don't do this every single night, but the nights when I do, oh my God, does it make a difference the next morning. I just feel so much more rested, so much more kind of happy. I feel more productive during the day and I actually get sleep. All of these things that I'm going to talk about really contribute to beautiful, restful sleep. So we're going to talk about a wellness drink that's so good to sip on if you're like lying in bed reading a book or something. We're going to talk about gua sha, which is a form of facial massage, which is not only so good for your skin, it's also so relaxing. So grabbing a book and gua sha-ing at night, I love doing this. I'm also going to talk about kind of like the ambiance thing and what I do in my bedroom to really set it up for restful sleep, and then a couple other things that I love to do at night to get my mind in a really peaceful place before I go to sleep. So the first thing about setting up a nighttime routine is you have to give yourself time. Everybody goes to bed at different times. Everybody has different requirements for what they need for sleep. I think you probably have some idea what your body needs for sleep. So just work back from when you wake up in the morning to figure out how many hours you need that night and start your nighttime routine like an hour before you go to bed. You really want to give yourself time to really enjoy all these things and settle in for an awesome night's sleep. Also, if you'd like to see my morning wellness routine, leave a comment below. I would love to do that. I'm like pretty much obsessed with these routines, obsessed. So as part of this nighttime wellness routine, I'm gonna be showing you one of my favorite nighttime drinks, which the star of this drink is ashwagandha, which is this ancient plant and medicinal herb that has been used for centuries to combat stress and anxiety and fatigue. Ashwagandha is classified as an adaptogen because it is said to help combat the effects of stress on the body. So for this drink, I'm actually using an ashwagandha powder that I found at HomeGoods. Oddly enough, HomeGoods sometimes has really cool like superfood powders and random things. I would just make sure you check the out date when you're looking there. But yeah, I found ashwagandha there. I was so excited to start experimenting with it and using it because I've read so much about it, and I have to say that I love this at night. It is such an awesome stress reliever. But you can also get this online, so I'm gonna link my favorite brands below of ashwagandha powder. So this drink is actually a combo of the ashwagandha, any kind of plant-based milk you want to use. Cashew milk is really great in it and it makes it really creamy and beautiful. You can use oat milk or almond milk, whatever plant-based milk you like. You can also use whatever sweetener you like. Sometimes I like to actually throw a little bit of date paste in this, and I will link below a video for making your own date paste, but I love to use that as a sweetener if you don't have date paste, because who has vape paste lying around. You can also use a little bit of stevia, or you could use a little bit of maple syrup. Now, I sometimes use stevia, sometimes I stay away from it. I actually created a video all about sugar and I mentioned stevia in this. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I kind of stay away from it. It is up to you, whatever sweetener you are comfortable with, use that in this drink. And then I also add some spices and you kind of really froth this all up, heat it up, and it is this beautiful, warming, nighttime, stress relieving drink. My target bedtime is 10 p.m. I really like to wake at around 6. So for 10 p.m. bedtime, I really like to shower and do skincare by 8:30 and then really start this whole wind down routine by 9. And I have this drink at around 9 while I'm doing the whole wind down routine. So another thing that I love to do at night is Gua Sha facial massage. You might have heard of this. I feel like it's all over Instagram, but it's basically taking a stone and oil, putting oil on your face and then using the Gua Sha to massage your face. And I'm gonna do this in this video and also create an IGTV with a full Gua Sha tutorial if you are interested. I know this can kind of sound weird at first, but it makes such a difference in my skin when I do this at night. My skin is less puffy, it feels like more taut, more glowy, and it almost feels like any fine lines and wrinkles can help to be diminished on the nights that I do this. When I don't do this, and also when I don't drink water, I feel like my skin can kind of like sometimes look like crap. So this is really helpful. I was recently gifted from a brand called Pink Moon, their Gua Sha facial oil and their Gua Sha stone, and I'm so excited to use this. Pink Moon specializes in well care, which is wellness and self-care products. So you can take a look at their shop. There's so many beautiful products. They are clean, they are sustainable. I've talked to the founder Lynn a lot about how and why she created this facial oil and Gua Sha duo. Lynn launched this to celebrate her heritage and to also promote healing and self-care among women. She decided to use rose quartz for her Gua Sha tool. Now there's a lot of different stones that you can find online. Lynn specifically chose rose quartz for this Gua Sha tool because of its cooling effect, and it immediately helps to kind of soothe inflammation and puffiness, which when you wake up the next morning, it's like a little gift to yourself, a skin gift. Also, the rose quartz kind of stays cool on its own, so you don't need to store it in the fridge. And if you've never heard about storing like skin stuff in the fridge, I know it's weird, but yeah, I mean, I've stored like ice rollers in the fridge before, but what's cool about this stone is you don't need to do that. It stays cool on its own. Another cool thing about the rose quartz is that it's tied to energetic healing, self-love, kindness, and compassion. So that's another really beautiful thing about using a rose quartz stone for your facial massage, for your Gua Sha. At the beginning of this year, I did a major non-toxic overhaul to my beauty and skincare routines. I literally cleaned out pretty much everything I had and got rid of toxic products. I'm so focused on having a non-toxic, beautiful, clean beauty and skincare routine, and that is where facial massage really comes in for me. I want to create like really natural, healthy wellness for my skin. So if you have any questions about specifically the Gua Sha portion of this, leave them below. I usually like to Gua Sha either 1 to 2 times a day. I definitely do this at night. Sometimes in the morning, I'll actually use a facial massager or I'll use the stone. It's an awesome thing to work into your skincare routine. All right, guys, let's hop into the nighttime wellness routine. So the first part of this routine is actually making your Ashwagandha Moon Milk. So I love this drink so much at night while I'm winding down. Ashwagandha is an adaptogen that helps your body to relax. It's this ancient medicinal herb that has tons of different health benefits. It can help to reduce anxiety and stress. It can help to fight depression and boost fertility and testosterone in men, and it even helps to boost brain function. So the first thing you're going to do to make your Ashwagandha Moon Milk is to combine a couple of your dry ingredients in your favorite mug. So first you're going to take your ashwagandha powder. Now I'm going to list out the specific amounts of the ingredients below, linked up in a blog post. You can also use a little bit of sweetener here. So I usually use a little stevia in this, but it's completely up to you what you want to sweeten your moon milk with. So you mix your ashwagandha powder with any spices that you want to use. Cinnamon is an absolute must, but I also sometimes use a little nutmeg, sometimes some pumpkin pie spice if you have that. You could also use cardamom or ground ginger if you like that. You also want to use a dash of Himalayan salt, and this is completely optional too. Next, you're going to froth your favorite plant-based milk. So today I'm using oat milk, but anything will work here. You can use almond milk, cashew milk, hemp milk, anything you really dig and like, use in your moon milk. And I'm also using my favorite frother to froth the milk, which I will link this frother below. I am obsessed with it. But you can also just heat this on a pot on the stove and use a whisk really quickly while you're heating it to get it frothy. You can also use a handheld frother if you have one of those lying around, which I'll link a handheld frother below as well. So once your milk is frothed, you can then add about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of your milk to your dry ingredients in your mug. So you're doing this to help the dry get incorporated into the liquid. You don't want to add all of the liquid all at once, or else it'll be really hard to stir in with the dry ingredients. So once you've worked that initial milk into the dry ingredients, I like to add another tablespoon of milk, stir that, and now you're starting to get a more liquid mixture, and then you can add in the rest of your plant milk. So now that your ashwagandha moon milk is all ready, you are ready to set the vibe of your room. So this is a really important step of the whole nighttime wellness routine, because when you set a really nice, chill, zen vibe in your room, it's kind of like a signal to your brain that it's time to go to bed. If you have bright lights blaring and there's noise, and maybe you have your TV on or you're watching something on your laptop, it's just, these things are not signaling our brains that it's time to go to bed. So you really want to think about the vibe going on in your room. So to set the vibe in my room, I love lighting my favorite candle to get that warm flickering light, and I also love lighting my salt rock lamp. Salt rock lamps not only help to signal to our brains that it's time for sleep because they just kind of emit this beautiful pink light, they also have so many benefits. They can help to cleanse and purify the air, balance electromagnetic radiation. They can even help to calm allergies and reduce asthma. There's so many benefits of salt rock lamps. I'm going to link a blog post below with more information on this, and I'll also link my favorite salt rock lamp below as well. Next, I like to get my Gua Sha Tools ready. So I always use some type of oil with my Gua Sha stone. Here I'm using the Pink Moon Rose Quartz Gua Sha Tool along with their lunar oil drops. Now, I talked about Pink Moon earlier in this video, but I'm really excited about these lunar drops. It's a blend of sunflower and moringa oil, and it's cruelty-free and non-toxic, which is exactly what I want for my oil for gua shaing. So by this point in the night, I've already cleansed and applied any skincare that I want to have on my face for bed, including my cleanser, essence, serum, eye cream, and moisturizer. I also like to make sure that my hands are super clean too, because you're going to be using them to put your oil all over your face. So you'll see me now actually add the oil to my hands. I like to usually rub the oil a little bit in my hands, and then I take kind of this big whiff of the oil. It just really helps me to just kind of get set up and ready to do the whole gua sha routine. This is just something I've started doing, and it just feels so relaxing. You want enough oil to really coat the skin on your face. You don't want to be dragging the Gua Sha tool over your face and pulling your skin. And I usually also take the oil down my neck because I like to start by gua shaing my neck. And then once you have the oil applied, you can pick up your Gua Sha tool and start to massage your face. I did a full breakdown tutorial of how to gua sha over on my Instagram, so I'm gonna link that video below. If you're interested in the technique I use, you can check out that video. So you'll see me kind of push my Gua Sha stone on some pressure points along my face. We hold so much tension in our face and neck, and sometimes we don't really even realize that. And using this stone can really help to release that tension. Gua Sha is actually a 4,000-year-old traditional Chinese medicine technique, and it actually means scraping sand in Chinese. It has so many different benefits. It's said to be grounding. The slow pace of the movement and the gentle touch on your face can really help to relax us. When we feel this grounding in our bodies and calm through our minds, this really helps to get us ready for a restful sleep. One of my favorite benefits of Gua Sha is that it is like a natural facelift. It can help to lift and sculpt and tighten the skin. And I know that on the nights that I do this, my skin is so much less puffy the next morning versus the nights that I don't. It can also help to stimulate circulation because the technique itself oxygenates and carries nutrients to our skin cells. Gua Sha is also amazing to get glowing skin because it increases circulation and improves lymphatic function, which can result in a naturally dewy, glowy complexion. So I like to prop a couple pillows up, grab the book that I'm reading, and actually start gua shaing in bed. I just find it to be so relaxing. While I'm reading, I'm kind of like multitasking, I guess, a little bit, in that I'm reading the book and I'm also doing facial massage, and it just feels super relaxing. I really like to read every single night. I've been trying to give myself enough time to read both at night and in the morning, and the books that I read at night are going to be different from the books that I read in the morning. At night, I like to read something inspiring but not too crazy activating. So I noticed when I was reading business books, I ended up having a notebook next to me and just writing so much down while I was reading these books at bed that I found it was actually kind of waking my brain up and really activating me. So I decided to save those books for the morning. At night, I really like to read something inspiring, but also that's a story. Right now, I'm reading Imperfect Courage by Jessica Honninger. It really talks about Jessica's story, about having courage to show up and do things scared. This is more of a story format, which is perfect for me for bed. So I'll link that book below. After I'm done gua shaing and reading, I like to write a quick reflection in my gratitude journal. So this is just basically I'm reflecting on the day I just had. And the reason I like to do this is because I start the day out with a lot of goals, and I really like to know if I'm meeting those goals or if I'm falling short somewhere. So I'm using my 5-minute journal here, and I always start every morning with this. This is where I write my gratitude when I first wake up, the things that I'm grateful for. So at the end of the day, I also write 3 amazing things that happened, and that is really to put myself in a really abundant, happy mindset. Because even if I had a hard day or a lot of things happened and I'm just kind of feeling weird, I can always find 3 things that I'm grateful for that were awesome that day. Whether that was the sun shining, or I got in a workout, or I saw a really cute cat outside. You just want to think of a couple amazing things that happened. And then after that, I also like to think about what I could have done better. And this isn't to be negative, but it's instead I use this to learn and grow. So if I had a bunch of goals that day that I completely missed, I really like to look at that and figure out why I missed them and where my head was at. And I want to know this so I can do it differently the next day. I don't want to keep repeating the same pattern day after day, so that's why I like to do this reflection. So after this reflection part, if I feel like I still have some things on my mind, I then just get out my journal and just start writing. You can use any notebook that you have lying around. I just basically free write anything that is coming to my head. I'm not writing this to go back and read the next day, or I'm not writing this to write a book or something. I am writing this to literally just get the thoughts out of my head so I can go to sleep. This helps me to take any anxiety, worries, to-dos that I have, any feelings or even ideas out of my head and to put them on paper. Because I find when I have those things swirling in my head and I shut off the lights and I'm laying in bed, sometimes I can't sleep because of all these thoughts swirling around in my head. So I find this journal activity to be really clearing for my mind before sleep. I don't do this every night, but on the nights when I'm feeling, really anxious or really awake, I find this to be super helpful. On some nights, if I am still anxious after this journal activity, after everything else, I will fit in 10 minutes of meditation. This is definitely not every night. I really try to meditate in the mornings, but sometimes if I just don't really feel like myself or I don't feel restful, I'll squeeze in a 10-minute meditation. So to do this, I'll either put on some sort of like nature ambient sounds, which you can just look up on YouTube for nature sounds, or I'll use an app. Right now I'm trying Calm and I'm really liking it. So after that, it is lights out and candles out. I like as much darkness as possible for when I sleep. You really want to create an environment that doesn't have distractions, that is as dark as possible. And if you don't have a completely dark room, you can always get an eye mask. If it's not completely quiet, you can also get earplugs. I use both of those at night. So hopefully you feel inspired and have gotten some ideas to work into your own nighttime wellness routine. I have a full Gua Sha tutorial over on my IGTV, which I will link below. I've also linked up the Pink Moon Duo if you're interested in trying that. Thank you so much, Pink Moon, for sending me this duo. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more from me, please hit the like button below and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back next week with another plant-based holistic health and wellness video, and I will see you then. Bye!